Hey everybody, welcome back to Sharon's Nail Boutique. If you're new here, please, why don't you hit that subscribe button and notification bell? That's a little clip of the nails we're doing here today. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel thus far. I really appreciate all of you. It means a lot to me from the bottom of my heart. I don't know how often I can say it, but I will say it every time I upload. Thank you guys. Thank you. So moving forward, we're using our extra long pre-pinch square tips, and as always, I will leave the link for these in the index below. I'm just gonna take my little gold scissors and start removing some of the side, and I'm not doing enough to do a coffin. I'm just taking off enough to do a tapered square. And it's, you know, I'm cutting this more so because you always, if the tips don't fit, like if you can't find an exact match, it's always better to have your tip bigger than smaller. With a too small of a tip, you're not going to be able to build the structure properly. It's just not going to look right because the tip is not going to come all the way to that side wall the way it's supposed to. That being said, you always want too big of a tip versus too small of a tip because you can clip off those sides just like I did. So I'm just showing you guys how I file and get those into shape and blend them in. And I'm very particular with how I file and get all that done because it has to be crisp. For a long time, my shaping was really off and it bothered me. When I would look at my pictures, it's just something that would always bother me. Like, I'm always asking for advice and tips and tricks, and it's just one of those things that you got to pay attention to and watch in the videos because you guys will get these things with time. If you're just starting out, do not let this discourage you. Acrylic especially is one of those things that with time you get better because acrylic dries and sets up quicker than gel or poly gel, you know, because you don't have the lamp to assist you. This just dries on its own with the air. You got to make sure that you're holding and using your brush appropriately because you don't want to be digging into the product. It's very easy to swipe off all your product. And you just have to learn how to control your bead ratio to liquid, letting it polymize before you place it down. All of these things matter, guys. So I'm starting off with this. Actually, it's like a milky pink that I made myself. Using like my milky white and some little pinks I had here and there. It's something that I needed because I get this color request in particular I do get often. So I'll either use like my frosty pink from the Mia Secret, or I'll use this one or my milky white because these are a little bit darker. But yeah, I actually really like this because it reminds me not exactly of Amore by CJP, but that's basically the look that I was going for when I was making this because it's just such a pretty soft pink color. It's not overpowering. It's really pretty on an ombre, which we do in this set. So right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm coming in with my milky white on the ring finger. Or no. Sorry, I apologize, guys. I believe... Hang on one sec. Because I may just be... Okay, yeah. I'm doing a full finger of the pink again. I won't be doing a ombre until the thumbs and the middle fingers. So on the ring and the pointer, we're doing a full, like, milky pink color. On the pinky... What did we do on the pinky again? See, this is what happens when you wait too long to do your voiceovers. Shoot, I hate that. I know the thumb is the ombre, the middle finger is the ombre, the pointer and the ring, the pointer and the ring are the full milky pink, and then the pinky, or no, the pinky and the pointer are full milky pink. And then the ring finger is the painted deep V. There we go. Yes. Hello. Title of the video, Sharon. Get it together, bitch. Seriously, guys, I swear to God, like the older you get, I'm 35 now, and time goes by so fast. So don't hate, guys. I'm getting old. I know I'm getting up there in age, but I'm an 80s baby. I'm what you would call millennial, I guess. Now they have Zennials, the Z generation. But I feel like the older I get, I lose my train of thought so easily. Like, I don't know if anybody knows of any like vitamins or anything like that I could take that helps with that. My daughter gets irritated with me sometimes because I repeat myself a lot, but I also feel like that's a good thing in a way because it helps you remember things. Like old memories from your past, like when you talk about them repeatedly, to some people it may be annoying, but you know what? In life, I feel like if you don't do that and constantly remind yourself of your memories, like you'll lose them. Am I right or wrong, guys? Seriously. So yeah, pinky and pointer are full milky pink. And you see how I'm coming down the side of that nail with my brush? That helps it stay tucked and very flush to the nail. We could get the rest little bits, when we come in and file. It's not, you don't have to really fuss with stuff too much, like those little bits. You just want to make sure that your product is even at your free edge and that you're not, swiping off too much of your product. Like I said, you want your ratios and your structure, to be built properly. So just want to make sure when you're placing it and holding your brush at that like 45-degree angle ever so slightly. That way you're getting that natural build that you're supposed to have. It's going to go right flush to the nail. You see how that kind of just like grabbed the nail naturally the way I was like pulling it with my brush? Over time you get used to little tips and tricks that help you along the way. And you get used to your product and the way it moves and molds and all that. So yeah, you pick up from people's videos, you pick up all types of little things to help you, when you watch people. I know for me, I watched a lot in the beginning, like Absolute Nails. I watched Liz Acrylic Nails, Femi Beauty I watch a lot because she does all kinds of nails, which I'm really into now, just not the acrylics, but I'm really into polygels as well. And I like seeing all the different types of designs that are out there, and that's why I like to watch Femi, because she does all types of nails, literally. And those are the types of nails that I live for, I swear. I love when a client comes in and tells me I could freestyle. That is like my dream. Like every artist wants to hear that, I think. But moving on, yeah, I'm just kind of filling in those spots where you see it's kind of like not built up properly, like where there's little dips. Yeah, and there's gonna be spots where it looks like it's kind of see-through-ish. That's just the color. It's not anything particular wrong with it. It's just how it comes out a little. That's why I want to get like an actual milky pink, not one that I made per se, because sometimes that can happen with like making homemade things. It tends to be patchy sometimes. Other times you get it perfect, and then you have like a little bits and pieces of the pigment, unless you have like a really good like mixing machine. I know they do make those now, I believe. I could have sworn I just seen one. But moving on, so now we're gonna do the full milky pink on the pointer. And the reason why I'm building it up versus doing a one bead is because this milky pink does set up a little quicker. So I'm just laying that in separate beads. That way I don't put too much at a time and it doesn't dry or set up too quick on me. So just gonna finish that, and then we'll move on to our ombre nails. And I chose not to do the cut French with this one because I felt like that would have taken a lot more time. So I chose to do the hand-drawn deep V French with my D&D white French gel polish, and I feel like it came out really, really nice. And then on the pinky, we did drawing the lines up the side, like the square kind of French. We drew that as well using my Akihi liner brushes that I've got off of AliExpress, sorry. And I'll leave the links for those as well in the index description below. Sorry, description index below. See what I mean? Get my words backwards and all kinds of fucked up shit. It's nice when you come down the sidewalls with your brush like that. It just makes it so much easier, so much more natural looking and tapered. I come in with my clear now and get that as flat and nice and neat as possible, because this will be my top structure area. So you want that to be built up nicely, nice and even and same size on both sides. That way when you come in with your electric drill and you do that cuticle area, you know, you're gonna thin that out some and the rest of your nail is gonna be built, you know. So on longer nails, you want to build up the apex a little more. Shorter nails, not so much. Like sporty short, you don't really need a high apex because that'd just be too thick of a nail. The longer they get, you know, the more product you need because it needs the strength. So now we're coming in with the marble, excuse me. So we're using my clear, my milky pink, my Mia Secret frosty pink, and my milky white that I made. And I really, really like how these marbles came out. I really, really liked how they looked. It kind of reminded me of like the fog and mirrors, like the smoky mirror effect. So I'm just perfecting like up near the cuticle. I always like to start off with like 2-3 colors and pull them down tight, and then take really wet beads and loosely pull my brush through them. With the lighter colors, you don't really have to worry about like swirling them together too much or overly, because the white with the clear and the light pinks, like they swirl really, really nice and effortlessly together. Whereas like the darker colors, you have to tend to be more careful with those, because darker colors, a little goes a long, long way. I just add a little milky pink there because it was a little too clear right there, so I just added a little more. I really like how those came out too. Then I move on, after I encapsulate this, I'll move on to the next hand, and I'll start that marble and then encapsulate that, and then we will do the ombres on the middle finger and thumb. You see how my product was still like sticking to my brush? That's how you know it's still too wet, so you have to play with it and until you get your ratio perfected. It becomes easier to pull, obviously, when it's not sticking to your brush. So you just keep kind of drying off your brush, waiting for it to polymize and set up a little bit more. Then you wet your brush again, kind of dab some of it off, and then you could go over your product because it'll be nicely polymized now to the point where you can pull it wherever you need to, and it's just gonna mold wherever you put it. So it's all just about getting used to your liquid powder ratio and laying your product and perfecting that, and perfecting your cuticle area mostly, because that's, I think, the hardest part to start off with, is getting your cuticle area nice and even and built up nicely, you know. So I'm just adding one more bead to the bottom part. I actually add one more. Okay, so there was a little dip there, so I needed one more. Okay, so then we'll move on to the ombres, guys, after this marble. And I'm actually gonna leave you guys here. So I want you guys just to pay attention to me drawing. I don't want to be talking through it, but one tip and trick I will leave you with is when you're hand drawing, any type of line work, any type of drawing. You want to anchor, when you're holding your brush, you want to stick your pinky out and anchor it by holding her hand. See how I'm anchoring my pinky on my fingers underneath her hand? See that? How I'm touching my pinky to my other finger? That anchors your hand. So like if you have any shakiness, anything like that, it'll help you keep a steady hand, I promise you. That, and make sure that you're not dehydrated, or like make sure that you're eating right, because all that affects you. There's been times where I've sat down to do nails early morning, haven't had breakfast yet, a couple hours into doing the set, I start shaking. That's because like when your sugar gets low, you need to have some fuel. So what I do is I eat a yogurt or something like that, and it'll stop the shaking. It really does. I'm not even bullshitting you. But you guys really have to pay attention to your health, because sitting for long hours at a time doing nails, it's backbreaking work. It really is. People may say, oh, boo-hoo, you're sitting. But sitting a lot of times is just as painful and just as tiring as standing on your feet for too long. So, and that's coming from somebody with a bad back, so I know what I'm talking about. It's never comfortable, but you get through it, you know? I just love how these marbles came out. So pretty. So, when I'm happy with that, which I feel like I just need a little more right there. And then I'll come in and I'll cap it. I'm happy. And I'll start the ombres when I am done up here. I'm just gonna cap. That bead came out all wrong, so I needed to grab another bead ASAP. I usually like to cap in one beads if I can. So you're coming down the side. See how I'm coming down the sides and around the cuticle with the toe of my brush, like the absolute point? That's so important, guys, because that really helps get your product as thin and tapered as you can without it looking off in structure. Obviously, you don't want it to be too thin. You want that kind of bubbled round shape up at that cuticle. Not too thick, not too thin, because you'll be able to see that the body of your nail is just off. It doesn't look right. Like when the free edge looks blockier and thicker than your cuticle, that's a problem. So yeah, your free edge should always look more tapered and thinner than up, like up in the stress point area. You'll have your bulk of the acrylic, and then it'll come down thin, and then in the side walls and cuticle area it's thin too. But it's a small portion, it's not a huge amount. So now we're just going in over that milky white with our milky pink. You see how I let that polymize before I place it? That's what I mean. So just make sure it does that before you place it down. That way it's not too wet. But then again, you don't want to place it too polymized, because you don't want it to set up too fast on you. So just keep that in mind. And I'm adding some to the side, because as you can see, when it set up, it dried too quickly over on the left side and didn't leave enough over on the right side. So I just fix that, blend it in, and then I'll cap. After I add a little bit more up there, now I'll cap. And that's the same thing I basically do to the thumb, guys, and then I'm gonna do the drawing. So I'm gonna leave you guys here now. The drawing, I'm sure you guys have seen it plenty times before. What I can tell you is with the deep V drawing French part, start by doing a little lowercase v right in the center of where the free edge is at the bottom, like a lowercase v, and you'll see me do that. That's exactly what I mean. When you see me do it, that is going to help you with that deep V, getting it started. And after you draw your lines, you could pretty much take your white gel polish with its brush and fill in the rest if that's easier for you. I still used my liner brush to fill it in, and then I used my gel polish brush, but to each his own. You guys can do whatever is better for you. I hope that you guys can recreate this set. If you do, please tag me or let me know. That way I can watch your video. And I really hope that this inspired some of you today, and I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Hope that you guys have been enjoying all my videos lately. My sister, I'm really excited because my sister got me a camcorder that comes with like the static mic and everything for Christmas. So I'm gonna be testing that out soon. I'm not sure exactly when. So hopefully the quality of that will be just as good, if not better. We're gonna test it out though, guys, and see how it works, because I think it'll be a good fit for us. Yeah, just to kind of have a better setup, you know. So that being said, let me know what you guys think. Any advice you guys have for me, constructive criticism, any comments, pop them below. I love hearing from you guys and talking with you. Yeah, any ideas or anything you want to see, just let me know, guys, okay? I love you all. Don't forget to hit that like button and share if you feel like it. Definitely subscribe, guys. It would mean the world to me if you haven't already. And I will see you guys all in my next one. Bye, guys.